Welcome back again to Casimotive, and in this video what I wanted to do is I wanted to share with you 5 thoughts, if I can, on the ITV program which I recently saw, where kids had to navigate their way across London and they had to do it alone. And there are 5 thoughts that I observed whilst watching this program that I think and believe will really add some value into your life and can help you become a higher, fuller expression of yourself. So let's go straight into it and let me see if I can add some value to you. By the way, I want to know what your favorite thoughts are on this. Which one of these you particularly say, actually, Cass, I really agree with you on that. Comment below, send me a message. But also, if there is something that if this video is of value to you, go on my YouTube channel, subscribe to it, because that's predominantly where I actually put most of my videos. A lot of my videos I never put up here. I put them on my YouTube channel, Casimotive. So jump on there so that I can keep sending you more of this stuff. Okay, let's go through it. Number 1, the first thing that I learned from this program, which I think will be really useful in the first thought, is that our parents put their insecurities and fears onto us, and it is our job to divorce them. You know, as children, when children grow up, children know nothing. When children first born, as they're developing, they know nothing. Everything that they feel, everything that they experience, everything that they see or know is a result of their environment, is a result of what they've experienced, what they've seen, what they've heard. And it is really, really important as adults to be able to divorce some of the fears and insecurities that our parents have. A lot of our parents, right, without us even realizing it, we've been operating from their life. We've been operating from things that didn't work out in their childhood, from things that didn't work out in as they were growing up. You know, I meet so many kids and they feel obligated to go to university. They say, Kasim, I have to go to uni. They say, Kasim, I have to live in this town. And I'm like, well, no, not really. You don't have to live here. And, no, you can go traveling around the world if you really want to and go and, experience new cultures, or maybe go abroad and live somewhere for like 6 months to see what it's like. And they're like, no, Kasim, no, I couldn't do that. And I'm like, why is that? And then I can't do, well, what would my parents think? Well, no, my mum told me that, and my grandparents told me, and my dad told me that, it was really dangerous and you couldn't go there. And this is very true. But what I've also learned about life is that things change. I remember I was once working in a restaurant, and whilst I was in that restaurant, a woman came in and she was having a meal, and I was having a conversation with the lady, and the lady said and I was like, oh, how come you're alone today? Are you visiting Reading, or are you traveling or something through? And she goes, no, I just came to Reading because I wanted to see how it was like. And I was like, how do you mean? She said to me that when I came, by the way, Reading is where I live at the moment. It's a place in Berkshire. And she said to me, I remember back in the 80s, I was once on a train from Bristol to London, and I got to Reading, and I was going to get off to go shopping in Reading, but the station and the place was so horrible that I decided I will never come to this place. And she said, however, recently I've heard that there is this new Crossrail. Basically, there's like a new faster like London train where you can go from Reading all the way into the middle of London on the same train, or 2 trains anyway, but it's much faster. And she said, and I could not believe it when I came back here. It's like a completely different place. The people are completely different. There's such a young demographic of people. The station is so nice because the station has actually been regenerated. And there is a lot, because we're in Reading, where I live, there is a lot more there's a lot of like IT companies and a lot of company like law firms and things like that. So there is a lot of, the demographic in Reading is pretty young. So a lot of people in their late 20s, early 30s. There's quite a huge population of people who are in that age group. And what I realized by having a conversation with this woman is that many times some things that were like before are not the way that they are now. If you go back to like the 80s and 90s, going abroad somewhere was dangerous. It genuinely was. It was not safe to go to some places where they couldn't call you, they couldn't know where you were, but today we have technology, you can tag yourself exactly where you are, you can go to their hotel and you can clock it, you can, everything today, there is basically, you can track exactly where you are. And so it's a completely very different world. And a lot of us don't realize that we're actually still living from the paradigm of our parents and their fears and their insecurities. A lot of us grew up in and I have actually a friend of mine, and she said to me, Kasim, but basically, you all know that I do a lot of exercise, right? I do a lot of, like, at the moment I'm training and I've been doing half marathons every week for a charity. And I was saying to her, she was like, oh, what are you doing after you finish work? And I was like, I'm going to the gym. And I was like, do you want to come? And she goes, Kasim, I'd never come to the gym. And I was like, oh, fair enough. Why is that then? She was like, psh, everyone in my family is big boned. My mum is big boned. My sister is big boned. My auntie is big boned. Everybody in my house has always been big boned. We don't work out. And later on, like a different day, I had a conversation with her about this, because it's really fascinating for me as to why she said this. And what I realised was that basically all her entire life when she was growing up, her mum always talked about, because I was like, well, I don't understand why she's got this, because genuinely we know, right, that you can work out, that there are no fat skeletons, that you can improve your health, that you can take yoga lessons, that you can, just because you've got like a big figure, it doesn't mean that you're not healthy, right? We all know that. And what I basically found out was that basically all her entire family had basically conditioned her that is the way they've always been, and it's never going to change. And no matter what you do, no matter what you eat, no matter what you exercise, it is never going to change for you. So it's pointless even trying to go to the gym, trying to work out, trying to eat healthily. And I think a lot of us end up in that state where we basically are we're living through the experiences and in the insecurities and the fears that people around us, our grandparents, our brothers and sisters, have been living through. I have a friend of mine who said to me, Kasim, it's really weird knowing you. And I said, okay, why is it really weird knowing me? She said, well, when I was growing up, we grew up in a small village and we didn't really know any black people. And my grandparents told me when they were growing up, black people were like really aggressive, like in the sort of 70s and 80s, and they were always fighting, and we didn't see them. And now when she looks on the news, there is always these gangs and stuff. And my mum was like, well, you got to be wary, they're very aggressive. But you're nothing like that. And we were having this conversation about this, and I said to her, I know that, and there are some black, I can't deny, probably in the 70s and 80s, there were some people who were like that, and yes, in London, if you go there are gangs, right? And I said to her, look, you have to remember that not everybody's the same, that times change, that there are different circumstances, and you can't live your life based on that. And I said to her, look, there are some black people who are not very nice. There are some black people who are aggressive. There are some black people who will cheat on you, who will betray you, who will abuse you. This isn't like unique to black people. It's happens all over the world. Just even in England. England is a fairly safe country, but there are criminals, and there are people who are rapists, and there are people who would bomb you, and there are people who would stab you. But everywhere around the world, there are areas like that, right? And so the first thought that I really wanted to get across to you is that don't live within the paradigm of your parents. Don't live within their fears. Don't live within their insecurities. Decide your own path. Go out there. See it for yourself. What are black people actually like? What does food, beyond the food that you've always eaten, like? What are people from other countries like? What do people who believe different things from you? One of the things that I recently did is I went to a church. Now, I'm a Muslim, okay? And I recently went to a church because I wanted to know, well, what is it? Well, what is it like? What do they do? And it was really interesting because the image that I had in my head about what a church was completely different. You know, they had all these, they sat you down in a group and you did these activities. And I was like, well, this is not what the movies show. The movies don't show getting into activities. They had all these workshops where they could talk about mental health, and they talked about people where you can like start doing like an event, like a charity event within the community. And I was like, well, this is not what I thought a church would be like, basically. And so I was like, right, okay, this is really interesting. And so, do you see what I mean? And I had to be careful because because basically my parents had never encouraged me to go to church when I was a child. Never. I've never heard of anybody, in fact, my entire family are all Muslims. Not one person has ever said to me, Cass, go and see what it's like. Go and visit a Hindu temple, see what it's about. Never heard anybody in my family say that. So I have no idea. I don't know. It was only recently that I went to a Hindu temple because a Nepalese friend of mine said to me, oh, Cass, come with me. We basically like give out food and we help people. And there are these like elders who sit down and they discuss things within the community and all of this kind of stuff. And I went there and everybody was so friendly. And they were like, oh my God, we've never seen a black person here. It was really funny actually, but it was really interesting to like see this world away like from what I thought it was like. And I think that's what a lot of us miss. Some of the great things in life are all on the other side of the fears and the insecurities that you've inherited. And I would encourage you, not only you but also myself, to continue divorcing those insecurities and adopt our own ones. The next thought that I thought about when it comes to this topic, when I was watching this, was around the fact that kids love challenges. If you have kids or you have nephews or you have brothers and sisters, one of the things that you will know is kids love challenges. You tell a kid to go into the garden and find some eggs, or let's see how quickly we can race from here to there. They love it. Kids don't say no to challenges. But I've come to the conclusion, and I've noticed that a lot of us adults, or I should say grown-up kids, don't really go for anything. We don't go for things that there is a potential we could lose. We all know, right, when we race a child, the child isn't stupid. They know that they're probably going to lose, but nevertheless, they get involved. And they know that as an adult, if they play you at Jenga, that there is, or they play you at that game where you put the Connect 4, that they probably are going to lose. You're older than them, you know more than them, but they still get involved. And what I would encourage you to do in your life is, even though there are some things out here that you're not good at, even though the odds are against you, still participate, still go for it. You know, if you have a vision, if you have a dream, if there's something out there that you'd love to accomplish, don't allow the fact that you could lose, don't allow the fact that you might not make it to stop you. Be like a child. Go for it nevertheless, because you will be surprised at how things work out. You will be surprised at the fact that you could win, right? You know, as adults, how many times have we played a child at a game and all of a sudden they beat us and we're like, holy shit, I don't really like, whoa, what happened here? Sometimes the kid does win. But it takes that courage, it takes that bravery, and it requires you to really dig within the spirit that you have to go out there and actually attempt to win, to actually compete, to get involved, engage in life. You know, if you desire to have a relationship and have a marriage that lasts for years, go out there. Try it. Try and put yourself out there. Go out there and meet new people. Go out there and start a relationship. So what if the person cheats on you? So what if it doesn't work out? Great. And you're going to have a heartbroken. Anyway, you can never truly love and know what love is until you've had your heart broken. It's most people who've never been in love have never had their heart broken. It's when your heart is broken that you know, oh my God, I was actually in love. But you've got to go and put yourself out there. Otherwise, you may miss out on that. Yeah, of course, you may not get to the point where you have so much money that you can give hundreds of millions of pounds away. But you know what? Go out there nevertheless and see how much money you can make and give it away to charity. Go out there and see what you can do with your health and improve it, so and see how many people you can inspire. Just go out there, compete, go out there, put yourself out there. I believe if you will do that, you could live